Imagine you are a Pashtun tribesman in the year 1673. You cannot read. The vast majority of the men seated around you in the Hujra tonight cannot read either. The world of manuscripts and court poetry and written political argument is not your world. Your world is the fire at the center of this room, the faces of the men you have known since childhood, and the voice of the man now reciting, from memory, verses composed by the paramount chief of the Khattaks. You have never met Khushal Khan Khattak. You may never meet him, but tonight, in this communal assembly house, his words are entering you, not through your eyes, but through your ears, your chest, your blood. This is how Khushal Khan's revolution actually happened. Now, it is a persistent misconception that great literary works change the world primarily through readers, through individuals sitting alone with a text, absorbing it privately, and being gradually transformed by it. In the Persian and Urdu literary traditions of the Mughal court, that model had some truth. The courtly ghazal was read, circulated in manuscript, debated among educated elites. But Khushal Khan was not writing for the Mughal court. He was writing for a society in which literacy was concentrated among the tribal aristocracy and the religious scholars, and in which the vast majority of ordinary Pashtun Muslims encountered the world's ideas not through silent reading, but through communal oral recitation. The Hujra, the men's assembly house, was the central institution of Pashtun communal life. Every village had one. Every tribe gathered there. It was the place where disputes were mediated, where news was exchanged, where the rhythms of community were maintained. And it was the place where poetry was performed, memorized, and absorbed into the collective consciousness of an entire people. Khushal Khan understood this with the precision of a man who had grown up in that world. He did not write his war poetry for a reader to process quietly in private reflection. He wrote it to be performed, to be declaimed at full voice around a fire, to be heard by 30 men simultaneously, to land not just in one mind, but in a room full of men whose honor was mutually accountable. He engineered his verses as instruments of collective emotion. The mechanisms were specific and deliberate. His war poetry was designed to produce shame, the particular, unbearable shame a Pashtun man feels when his honor is called into question before his peers. A man sitting alone might read a poem about cowardice and feel uncomfortable. But a man hearing that same poem recited in a room full of men who are all looking at each other, that man feels the full weight of communal accountability. Khushal Khan weaponized that weight. His verses named the reluctant warrior. They named the man who accepted Mughal gold and called it pragmatism. They named the tribe that sat still while its brothers bled. And they did it in language so precise, so formally beautiful, so impossible to dismiss as mere emotion that the listener could not retreat behind indifference. This was effective weaponry. Poetry as a technology of political mobilization. And it worked not because Khushal Khan sent messengers with scrolls. It worked because every Pashtun tribesman who memorized a verse became himself a carrier, a node in a network of oral transmission that stretched from the Indus to the Khyber, amplifying a single man's words across thousands of miles of mountain terrain without a printing press, without a postal system, without any of the infrastructure that modern political movements depend upon. The Hujra was his broadcast tower. The human voice was his medium. And the fires of 1,000 communal assembly houses carried his revolution into every valley the Mughal Empire thought it controlled.